Hey guys, we're back. This is part 2 of what's probably going to be a 3-part series. In the first series, I took you guys for a ride in the RZR 570 and let you listen to a loud, cracking, popping, metal-to-metal type grind sound coming out of the rear differential. We weren't 100% positive if it was a rear axle, a rear wheel bearing, or a rear wheel bearing carrier. So we're going to dig into this, see if we can't figure it out. Then when we get it fixed, we want to take you back for a test drive to make sure that you guys know exactly what's going on. We like to take you guys out on the trail with us every time we go. We like to include you in everything that we do. So while you're waiting on this, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, make sure you do that. Make sure you hit the little icon where the bell is right beside of the subscribe. That way every time we post a video, you guys won't miss out on any of the fun. So give us just a second here and we'll dig into this and see what we can find. We'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Okay, well, we got the axle out. We were able to pretty much just loosen everything up without actually having to take it off. And everything inside the differential, from what I could tell, looked really good. The bearing inside the carrier looked good, felt good before I took the wheel off. It wasn't loose, wasn't moving. The actual carrier itself, I looked at it really good to make sure I couldn't see any hairline cracks, and I didn't see anything. So I'm like, wow, what is the problem? So after I did a little more research, we found, boom, the axle boot is busted. Now, not only is the axle boot busted, but see this little, what looks like a cigar? That is actually a stick. Well, when I had the axle in the buggy earlier today, I really couldn't see even if my boot was busted, because, you know, it sits down inside the bearing carrier there, and it's hard to see all of the boot. But as soon as I jerked on the axle to get it out, it took a couple good hard jerks. Actually sprayed some PB Blaster in there about an hour before I actually pulled it out to ease on the pulling it out of there to where it come out a little easier. But this little fella fell out of the boot as soon as that happened. So evidently, that's what punctured the boot, and then it got stuck up in the boot. But I want to show you here why we had a failure. Let me see if I can get the light. There it is, right there. Can you see that water in there? That muddy water? Yeah, that's the problem right there. Well, and now look inside here. See all the rocks and the dirt and the mud and the grime? Yeah. Well, you know what they say, guys. If you want to play, you got to pay. So, that's what we did. We got to pay now. So, I called Super ATV, ordered 2 new Rhino axles. I've got Rhino axles on the front of my buggy. Haven't had any issues out of them at all. The front axles actually were not bad when I replaced them. They actually had that, what Polaris calls normal wear. They had the excessive play up close to the front differential. So I replaced the front axles with Rhino axles. And so far, I haven't had any issues yet. None whatsoever. So hopefully you guys can see in there on the front. I'm trying to keep the light here to where you can see pretty well too. But anyways, that's where we're at, guys. It ended up being the axle. So while we've got this apart, I am going to go ahead and grease the wheel bearing. Guys, if you don't grease your wheel bearings, you really need to try to start. This is a tool that I use. This is made by Tiger Tool. I don't know if you can see the name on it there or not. It's a little hard to see because of the light. But anyways, You can actually use this tool while the axle and the hub and everything is still, bearing carrier is still intact. You do not have to take it apart to actually grease your bearing. The only thing you have to actually take off is just the rotor, the brake rotor, and your caliper here. That's the only thing you got to take off, and then you just slip this right over top of the axle and just start pumping until you... I usually pump it until I barely see a little bit of that seal. Just, I don't even like to do it until it moves, but I do it until I can just barely see a tiny bit of movement. Then I stop and I actually turn the tool back and forth, you know, really good to make sure that it's spreading the grease inside that bearing. So this is a must on all these razors. The 570 and the 800 take two different type of bearing greasers. The rear takes a 40 millimeter. The front takes a 44. On all of your 900s, the 900 Trail, the 900S, the 1000S, the 1000 XP, the Turbo, all of them take the 44 millimeter front and rear. So you guys only need one actual bearing greaser. So, well, I'm going to wrap this one up right now. I'm going to get ready to put everything back together. And as soon as I get it back together, we will do a third part and take you guys on a test drive with us. And we'll let you listen to the new fixed axles on the Razor Rocks 570. So, all right, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the little icon button there beside of that so you can always ride along with us every time we're out on the trail. And don't forget to relax and enjoy the journey. Guys, have a great night, and we'll see you in the next video. Part 3 is coming up.